Hi there. I'm Dr. Craig Dingman. I'm a chiropractor. I had the privilege of entertaining your kids this morning in Miss Thomas's class. Excuse me, the grade 4-5 health class. Anyway, we had a lot of fun today. I really enjoyed your children. They're super smart. Obviously, Miss Thomas has been doing a great job teaching them about science and health because they knew pretty much all the answers from everything that I was reviewing with them. I was totally impressed. And even some of them, if they didn't get the answers to some of the questions I was asking them, the kids who had just finished their unit or their ISU on a specific part of the body, those kids could answer it. So we had a lot of fun. It was from 9 till 10:40, so it was like 100 minutes. And I was just really impressed. The kids did great. We had a lot of fun. So I thought that I would send you this webinar so that you could review what we went through. So I promise you it's not going to be 100 minutes. It'll probably take us about 10 to 12 minutes as I go through my presentation. I've taken out a lot of my bad dad jokes. The kids really sort of love-hate thing going on with my bad dad jokes. I've taken out the videos and stuff that I put in and the stories, and I'm just giving you content. So maybe the kids will share some of the bad dad jokes, but I just almost got booed off stage quite a few times. So anyway, I'm going to go through this, and I'll put my contact information in with this video. You get this from Ms. Thomas. And if you have any questions about the content that I presented, or you want to get in touch with me, again, my name is Dr. Craig Dingman. My practice is in Aurora, close to Yonge and Wellington. It's called Elevate Chiropractic. And you'll get my contact information with my website if you wanted to surf around and see the other things that we're doing in our office. All right, so I'm going to stop the video and take you through my presentation. Here we go. So I told the kids that I was a chiropractor, and I said, you know, it's the funny thing about chiropractors. People say that chiropractors are a lot like scarecrows. They're outstanding in their field. Anyway, the kids didn't think that was funny either. The topic of the presentation was called The Amazing Dr. You. Wanted to stress to the kids how amazing their body is and how the different body systems work together in this brilliant design. And I asked them, has anyone ever told you how amazing your body is, or have you even thought about it? You know, a lot of people take for granted that their body will just function and heal and do all these crazy, amazing things. And we don't even really think about it. You know, you multitask and do one or two or three things at a time, but your body is doing for you every minute of every day, trillions upon trillions of things. It's phenomenal. So the first question was, how many cells are in your body? Parents, do you know this? Most adults when I asked this at my patient workshops, they have no idea. One kid did get it. I was amazed. He said 50 trillion. I said, wow, yeah, for a kid, it's probably 50 trillion. For an adult, it might be 70 to 100 trillion, but we have 50 trillion cells. So I was trying to figure out with the kids, okay, how many zeros are in there? And we had some crazy guesses, 6, 10, 20. I had to Google it, it's 12. Anyway, that's a lot of zeros. I was trying to stress to the kids that their bodies are continually regenerating themselves. So, for example, your liver is brand new every month. So every 28 days, every single cell in your liver has been completely replaced. A month from now, you get a whole different liver, every cell. It's amazing the healing potential in that. Skin cells are a couple of weeks, probably 2 weeks. All your skin cells regenerate. If you've ever burnt the roof of your mouth, your taste buds, exactly 11 days it takes all your taste bud cells to renew and regenerate. So every cell in your taste buds is new every 11 days. Some cells in your body are even faster. For example, your mucosal cells of your intestinal tract. Every one of those cells is replaced within 3 to 4 days. It's amazing. Your red blood cells live for exactly 120 days, and then they die, and you got a whole new set of red blood cells every 4 months. It's amazing. Even your skeletal system is replaced, a lot of it within months, but every single cell at the most is regenerated in about 7 to 10 years in your skeletal system. And here's where I said to the kids, okay, why was the skeleton not allowed to go out for Halloween? Because he had no body to go with him. Anyway, that one got a few more laughs, but not very many. This was a video of people doing amazing things. The kids got a real kick at it, about a 4-minute video, just showing some of the amazing talents and things that people can do when they really train their bodies to. Stressing how adaptable our bodies are when we treat them right and we create the right environment for health within our bodies. So wanting to talk to the kids and stress the idea and the concept about requirements for health. So I put this drooping flower up and I said to your kids, okay, so if you had this plant in your home, what would you do to it to make it healthier? And all the kids right away said, well, you need to put nutrients in the soil, you need to water it, you need to put it in sunlight, because everyone understands very clearly that that plant has those requirements. Well, humans have specific health requirements too. It's not just random that we're healthy or sick. The degree to which we fulfill our health requirements as individuals is the extent to which we will be healthy. So that's really what I want to spend the rest of the talk going over and trying to illuminate for the kids is, what are these fundamental health requirements that people have? So your amazing Dr. You, its command control center, the most important part in our whole body is, of course, our brain. And the cells of our central nervous system are the only cells in our body that aren't regenerated and repaired, right? All your body's turning over, all these other cells replacing themselves, but the ones you get when you're born, those are the ones you got as far as your central nervous system cells. They don't replace themselves. So some of us may regret our college years on Fridays and Saturdays. We may have impacted a few too many of those brain and central nervous system cells, and unfortunately they can't regenerate. But your brain is command central. It's your master controller. And your brain is actually connected to every single cell in your whole body. And those, with all those 75 trillion cells are doing every second of every day. And it's connected to them through messages it sends and receives along your spinal cord and your nerves. And this is how your brain monitors the function and the healing and the regeneration of all the cells within your body. So your power source controls your body through messages it sends down to them and messages it receives from the cells. So as an example, we talked about touching a hot stove, right? If you touch a hot stove, the skin cells are giving messages to your brain about their environment. So they're saying, hey, we're burning here. So a message about that the skin cells send up your arm, through your shoulder, to your neck, up the spinal cord to the brain. That is a sensory nerve transmission that those cells are saying, hey, we're burning. And then the brain very quickly evaluates that and sends a super fast message at 268 miles an hour down to the muscles of your arm to retract your arm and move it. So you get sensory and motor, sensory and motor. And it's this constant feedback, feed forward of information that allows your body and your brain to adjust to your environment. And I joked with the kids, I brought a sock. It was actually clean, but I told them I'd worked out in it at the gym all week. I had like 3 or 4 workouts, and this was a really smelly sock. And if I put it in front of their nose, how would they react? Well, they all jump back instantly. And I said, okay, so that's sensory and motor. Your sensory, your smell doesn't like how my sock smells. So therefore your brain tells your body to jump back and move away from it, just like the hot stove. So yeah, they didn't appreciate my smelly sweat sock, but your brain and your spinal cord are the 2 most important parts of your entire body, so much so that in its infinite intelligence, your body has created its form of body armor. It's precious cargo and it needs to be protected. So your brain, being the most important, has this super helmet, this skull that protects it. And then your spinal cord is the next most important. It has all these bones that protect it, but you also have to be able to move your body. So the bones are stacked upon discs to allow for a lot of protection for the spinal cord, but also to allow for movement. And the spine should be perfectly straight from the front like an arrow, but from the side it should have all these curves and be shaped like an S in order for it to be functioning properly. Now, we talked about some ways that the spine could get shifted out of alignment, traumas from sports, car accidents, but the more significant ones are micro trauma from bad posture, whether it's driving, work all day. How many of you work at a computer and drive to and from work? How much time each day do you spend in the position of these people in the car and at the desk? And look at the position of your head. Look at the spine inside there. Like those curves are exaggerated. The neck curves are gone. They're straightened. And kids texting, tablets, these kids are spending so much time in this day and age on their technology. It's wreaking havoc on the structure of their spine, especially their upper back and neck. And I've been in practice now for almost 18 years, and I'm seeing different things in the last 5 or 6 years than I saw 10 plus years ago. And it's based on the invention of the smartphone and how widespread use of it and the postures we're in when we're on our smartphones and tablets. It's creating early degenerative changes that I'm seeing in late teens and early 20s on x-ray that I never would have seen before in someone younger than, say, 40. And so I really was trying to stress to the kids proper ways to sit when they're at school, proper ways to sit when they're at home, when they're in the car, when they use their devices, to minimize the trauma on their spine. Because if the spine gets shifted out of alignment, it's going to put compression on the spinal cord or the nerves that exit the spinal cord. Just like a garden hose. If you put a kink in the garden hose, that kink is going to slow down the flow of water. Well, when your spine is shifted out of alignment, either a little bit or a lot with maybe a scoliosis or an anterior or a forward head position, then it's going to put a lot of pressure on your spinal cord, and it's going to be reducing those messages that go between your brain and your body, effectively disconnecting your brain and body and reducing the functionality and the health of your body. So how would you fix a garden hose? Well, you'd undo the kink. How do you fix the spine? Well, you got to undo the kink. You got to straighten the spine. You got to correct the alignment. You got to fix the posture. And that's where chiropractic comes in. Great analogy with how your nervous system works is it's very much lined up and separated like the circuits in a house, right? So if you blow something on a circuit in your house, stick a screwdriver in a socket, it's not just that socket that goes out, it's everything that's on that circuit blows in. You know, you can't just replace that light bulb or that socket in the wall. You got to go flip the breaker, or nothing else is going to fix it. Well, the same thing happens if you have a spinal problem that's putting compression on the spinal cord or the nerves. Treating it with a pill or a potion or some sort of synthetic chemical substance that's going to dull the pain or remove the symptom is not going to reset that breaker. Oftentimes, you got to go to the source and flip the breaker. And that's really what I do as a chiropractor, fixing spinal problems that have been altering the function of the nerve system. If you think of people that have heart attacks, right? Some of the cardinal signs of heart attacks, one of them is shortness of breath. Another, it would be pressure or pain, or like an elephant's on the chest. But we also get symptoms down into the arm, like numbness, pins and needles, tingling, burning. Those are all nerve sensations, right? So when you're having a heart attack, heart cells are dying. Why, if heart cells are dying, would you have arm pain, arm numbness, and tingling? Well, it's because it's all on the same circuit. The way the hardwiring in your circuitry in your nervous system goes is the exact same circuit that controls your arm also controls your lungs and portions of your heart. So if the circuit breakers flip, anything on that circuit can be impacted. It's exactly why if you have a low back problem, if a disc is out, you could have numbness and tingling in your foot, right? You could have foot drop. You could have weak muscles in your leg. You could have shooting pains all the way down the back of your leg when the problem is actually in the small of your back, right? When the circuit goes, anything on the circuit can go, and the breaker is the thing that has to be fixed. That's where chiropractic comes in. That's what I do. Not all chiropractors do this. Traditional chiropractors will work on short-term acute care pain relief. They'll have electrotherapy and ultrasound, and if you have a body pain, they're focused on that body part and short-term alleviation of that symptom. That's more traditional chiropractic. Chiropractic is very effective for that. My approach is more corrective care. So I'm looking at shifts in the spine that could be creating those symptoms, maybe aches and pains that you're feeling, but more importantly, could be putting compression in your nervous system, affecting you in ways that you're completely unaware of. And it helps the body function, heal, and repair itself as well as possible. Another functional requirement that the body has in order to be healthy is its nutrition. Just trying to stress to the kids the importance of eating real food, right? In this very quick-paced society, we have fast food, we've got food in a box, everything's packaged and convenient and easy, and we're losing our intake or minimizing our intake of real food. I was trying to stress to the kids that, your body regenerates and remakes itself with the food that you feed it. So if your liver is replaced every 28 days, you're taking the food that you eat, breaking it down, and making new liver cells with it, new heart cells, new lung cells. And I asked them the question, do you want your body to be remade of broccoli and cauliflower and vegetables, or donuts and pizza and French fries? I mean, it's a good question, but it's a valid one. You're literally remade. You are what you eat. So what does real food look like? Well, it's bright and vibrant and colorful. Here's some examples. And we went through a list. We had a pop quiz. Your kids did awesome. They got every single one of these right. They knew what real food was and what wasn't real food. And I talk to parents when they grocery shop, try and stay on the perimeter, right? As soon as you start going up and down those aisles, you're going to notice things are in a package, they're in a box, they're preserved. They do not look like real food. You should eat your food in as close to its appearance in nature as possible. And you do that best by staying in the perimeter only of the grocery store. Really helps. What happens to food after we eat it? Helping the kids to understand that you intake this food, it goes to your stomach and then to your small intestine, then your large intestine. And as it's going through, your body is breaking it down into its component parts. And it's very much like Lego. So my little guy, my 9-year-old son, loves Lego. But if you think of your food as a Lego thing put together and you eat it, and then as it goes through your intestinal tract, each piece is broken apart. It's broken down into all the individual Lego pieces and then put into the bloodstream and shipped to all these different parts of your body. And then when it gets to the parts it's supposed to go to, all the pieces are put together again to make what they're supposed to make. They're put together to make muscle cells or liver cells or bone cells, you name it. But these building blocks are shipped through your body to remake your cells, and they're pieces of the food. You are what you eat. So we reviewed the different types of food. So there's protein, fat, and micronutrients, primarily in the form of carbohydrates. And it's important to use good sources of carbohydrates that are nutrient dense, and that's primarily vegetables. There are lots of good, healthy sources of meats here and some healthy fats, whether it's salmon or there's coconut oil or avocado oil, some nuts and seeds, healthy fats. And we talked about, which one of these guys would you like to look like? Would you want to look like this guy that's made all of vegetables or the donut? And all the kids, obviously, sure, they wanted to eat the donut more than the vegetable, but they thought I would be healthier if I looked like the veggie guy, not the donut guy. So you are what you've eaten mostly over the last 2 years. So here's a little bit of homework I did give the kids. So I talk about one of the things I stress with patients when I'm working with them, I'm trying to get them to understand that protein should be the center of every meal, whether it's a chicken breast, if you're a vegetarian, it could be some legumes or something. It could be salmon. It could be a grass-fed steak or whatever it is. Your protein should be the center point of your meal. You should have some healthy fat with it, and then you should have a whole bunch of micronutrients in the form of vegetables, lots and lots of veggies. And the homework I gave the kids was that they should quiz you on how big each person's protein portion should be. So the answer is that, and they should be able to tell you this because we stressed this, we really worked on this, is that your protein should be as big as, if you open your hand, it should be the palm portion of your hand as its circumference. And then it should be no thicker than a hockey puck, probably a little narrower than a hockey puck in thickness. So if you're bigger, you got a bigger hand, you get to eat more, can I say? We talked about sugar. Sugar is a really important one. There's so much research coming out on nutrition and sugar right now. Sugar is empty calories. Pop, ice cream, Smarties, candy, Halloween, it's a nightmare for me because seeing all this sugar, this is calories and health destruction with no nutrient value whatsoever. So sugar is not a food group. It truly isn't. Sugar is like a little treat to have every once in a while. But one of the kids this morning said, sugar is poison. And I thought, oh, that was one smart kid. Like, you didn't want to overstate it like that for kids, but it truly is. And I was so proud of that kid for mentioning that. So if that was your child, you're doing a great job because they have a good understanding, because it truly is. High blood glucose levels are toxic. Your body has to maintain its glucose levels within a very fine limit because sugar is poison. And when we have high blood glucose from a high intake of sugar or, simple carbohydrates like bread and muffin and donuts, those things are converted to sugar as soon as they touch your tongue. High blood glucose levels are very inflammatory for our arteries, for our whole body. So if you got joint pain and aches and nags and aches and pain that go for a long period of time, you cut down on your sugar in the form of either candy or simple carbohydrate, breads, muffins, donuts, pastas, all those things. You'll feel better in a very short period of time. Just trying to emphasize to the kids the concept of nutrient density, right? So if you look at the balloon on the right, so a balloon is a big thing, takes up a lot of space, has lots of volume, but what's inside it? Well, nothing. So a can of pop is just like that. There are no nutrients in a can of pop, nothing, right? But it's a lot of calories, takes up a lot of space. A lot of sugary and simple carbohydrate things are like this. They're not very dense. They don't have any or many nutrients, as opposed to a hockey puck, which is very dense, and a hockey puck, which is about the size of a piece of meat an average person would have. A grass-fed piece of beef in the shape of a hockey puck is really nutrient dense. So is fish. It's very nutrient dense. And chicken. Those things for the size, they've got so many micronutrients in them. So it's important to look at your food in terms of nutrient density, right? How many nutrients do you get for the amount of calories you're consuming in a piece of steak versus a can of Coke? Okay, the next thing, we played a video on exercise, because people don't understand that you cannot be healthy if you're not moving regularly. And you need lots of different types of movement and different types of exercise. So we talked about sports. We talked about weightlifting. People have to lift heavy things. Doesn't matter what age you are. You've got to be lifting heavy things once or twice a week if you're 40 plus, probably more than that if you're under 40. Moving fast, so HIIT training, sprint training, surge training, burst training. But also just recreational things like riding a bike. This is where I said to the kids, bike riding is important, but, I don't know what's wrong with my bike. It won't stand up on its own. I think it's too tired. That one got some laughs. Actually, the kids did appreciate that bad dad joke. But play, especially for kids or us with our kids, going out and playing with your kids, you'd be amazed at how many calories you're burning, how good for it is for you, not just physically, but good for your soul, your spirit. Walking on the beach, playing in the pool, those things all count. Your kids all had great ideas about exercise, like doing squats and doing push-ups. I apologize. One girl wanted to do planks. She said, planking is good. I love planking. We didn't actually get to demonstrate planking, even though we did jumping jacks and push-ups and we did some yoga moves. Anyway, I told the kids that this was me in the morning before I came to see them. I did shave and take my earring out, but none of them believed it. Good for them. Anyway, but lifting heavy things allows you to maintain muscle mass and bone density. Strength training is way more important for your bone density than any calcium supplement you could ever take. Critical. I can't stress that enough. I have all my patients who are, especially women who are 35 plus, and they're talking about bone quality. They're always asking me, what supplement should I take? How much calcium? I'm like, well, you can take all the calcium you want, but truly the thing that's going to help you the most is strength training. So, and having increased muscle mass burns calories, helps you stay leaner. Cardiovascular exercise, the kids had a really good grasp of this, how important it is to maintain your cardiovascular activity. And then we talked about flexibility. It's another important part of movement. Being flexible and mobile, especially as you age, it's less important for the kids. They could all bend like Gumby this morning. We were doing all these different poses like for yoga, like warrior and downward dog and tree. And the kids they're tying themselves in knots. But as we age, we lose mobility unless we're really diligent. One of the things I've done in the last few years, almost 50 now, and I work on my mobility relentlessly. 3, 4, 5 times a week, I'm doing mobility work. And it's just so important. The pain and discomfort that you experience as you age goes up exponentially when you're not maintaining your mobility. So can you touch your toes without bending your knees? That's a piece of homework I gave your kids to go and work on you. So keep your knees straight. You should be able to comfortably touch your toes and eventually put your hands flat on the ground. That would be good mobility. If you reach one hand behind your neck and one hand up underneath your shoulder, you should be able to touch your fingers together. And we did the sit to stand test with the kids. And this was their homework. I told them to go and do this with their parents. Most of them could do it. Probably 80% of the kids could do this, but standing, you cross one leg in front of the other and you go right down sitting on your bum cross-legged and then get back up standing with your leg crossed over without using your knee, your elbow, your hands. You should be able to go down and back up. It can be extremely challenging. I think a lot of you would have a lot of difficulty with it. Hopefully your kids will show this to you in demo. So that was their homework anyway. And the last requirement we talked about is it was sort of sleep and thought processes or mental state, the power, like the importance of positive thinking. So, and most of your kids did recognize Homer Simpson. I didn't know if they would or not, but apparently he's still popular. So how much sleep should you get each night? Well, there are kids at their age, your kids should be getting 10 plus hours per night. Adults, we should be getting minimum 7, 8 is better. And it could be even more depending on your level of activity and stress. How many of you actually get that? Probably not many. Lots of patients come through my office. I poll every single one of them on this. And the average is closer to 6 hours. Some are low as 4 or 5. The odd time I'll get someone who puts 7, but it's almost never someone indicating to get over 7 hours of sleep as an adult. And it's simply not enough. Your body can't repair, regenerate, express health enough when you're not sleeping 7 to 8 plus hours per night. Your sleep environment does matter. So if you fall asleep in front of the TV on the couch with your feet on the coffee table at 7:30 and sleep till 9, that does not give you an extra hour and a half to add on to your quality sleep. Because with the TV blaring and you flaked out on the couch, that is not quality sleep. That doesn't matter. I really talk to the kids a lot about stressing the importance of their sleeping environment, right? It's not just the amount of sleep, but using devices before bed is horrible for their sleep. We really talked about this a lot. Like, your devices, your computer, your tablet should not be in your room. Heaven forbid a TV in your room, forget it. All those things should be out of your room. Your phone should be in your tablet, should be downstairs on the charger, outside mom and dad's room, somewhere where they're not tempted to use it when they should be sleeping or before bed. The blue screens activate certain areas of our brain. They really stimulate our brain. So it's the worst thing you can do if you're trying to sleep is blue screen. So if you're one of those patients that is watching Netflix on your phone or on your tablet in bed before you go to sleep, you're not doing yourself any favors. So I told the kids, if they can't sleep right away, they should be reading before sleep. It's way better. And we talked about the different ways that lack of sleep can affect how your body works, right? From obviously tiredness to lack of focus to cognition to memory to mood to irritability, processing higher functions, rational decisions. All these things are impacted even from acute short sleep deprivation, like not enough sleep for 1 or 2 nights. But when we talk about chronic sleep deprivation, like getting 5 to 6 hours night after night, month after month, contributes to chronic degenerative things like diabetes. It's being connected to heart disease, depression. There's so many widespread negative health impacts of not getting adequate sleep. And your kids actually got almost all of them. It was amazing the answers they had here. They really understood this. And then we talked lastly about a positive attitude. So people who are happy and positive and filled with joy and laughing a lot have better immune system function and they're sick less. And people that are negative and focused on the bad things around them and always complaining are the people that are sick more and have weaker immune system and more prone to the negative effects of chronic health challenges. Simple as that. And more and more research is coming out and showing this. So I really took some time today at the end before I finished to try and emphasize to your children that every single person on the face of this planet has good things happen to them every day, and they have bad things that happen to them every day. And they shouldn't ignore the bad things, but the important thing to understand here is that you get to choose what you're going to focus most of your mental energy on. The bad stuff or the good stuff. You get to choose, and every individual gets to choose. And if you focus more on the positive things, because every day has positive things, just like it has negative things, you choose to focus more on the positive things, you will improve your immune system, you'll improve your relationships, you'll improve your overall joy and your health. Critical to understand. And then to sum up in the end, we talked about how to stay healthy. So there are some functional requirements that humans need to fulfill in order to be healthy. They need to eat right. They need to move lots, probably more than they're moving, more than you'd think. You need to think well and sleep well, and you need to make sure that you get connected. So make sure your brain and your body are connected through a properly functioning spine and nervous system. And that's where I come in. Anyway, that's a wrap. That's the end of it. I really enjoyed spending that time with your kids today. It was a lot of fun. They did great. If you have questions about this presentation, if you have questions about health in general, anything we talked about, or if you just want to check out my website, it's www.elevatechiropractic.ca. Like I said before, I have lots of resources on there. I have some how-to videos on managing injuries and promoting health. There's lots of good free resources on my website. Feel free to click around there, but I'll leave my contact information with Ms. Thomas, and she'll include it with the link to this video, and you can reach out to me if you need to. It's Dr. Craig Dingman from Elevate Chiropractic. Thanks for your time. Have a great day.